There's a lot of B's I could be, but actually be good, not perfect. I mean, be random is probably a pretty good one, but I thought you might not want to listen to that. So these aren't props, they're prizes. I've got 2 of them to hand out. I want everybody here to imagine they're on a desert island. I'm not thinking a nice, comfortable one with a cocktail in your hand. Think of a small one screaming without the whiskey, and you need the whiskey. So everybody is on an island. And you have basically got to attract the attention of a plane. So you can hear it, it's in the distance. So I want all of you, and I'm going to give you about 20 to 30 seconds to make some form of flag. I am the plane, I have to see you in order to get my attention to come and rescue you. And the best flags, there's 2 prizes, gets the prize, okay? So you've got about 20 seconds to think about how you're going to make a flag. All the things around you, anything you're wearing, don't want any naked bodies, but anything out there that can make a flag, right? Keep thinking about it, keep going. You've got about another 10 seconds. Come on, everybody, I want to see your flags in the air. Yes, here's the flags, keep going. Yep, we've got some lights. You're going to get my attention. Getting really close now. Right, we're doing really, really well. Keep going. Woo! Right, brilliant. You guys are doing too well. Okay, there's somebody up there. Now, this is going to be a challenge, okay? There is somebody up there in a pink jacket. That lady there. Can you come a bit further here? I'm not sure I'm going to be able to launch this, but we're going to give it a go, okay? No, rubbish. Can somebody throw it that way for me? And then also, which is really bad, but there was somebody with a light and a jacket at the very, very, very back up the top. Can you see? Yeah, there. Okay, we're not doing too well here, but anyhow, I'm going to throw this one. Oh, no. See, I shouldn't be. My daughter's a county cricket player, really. It didn't come from me. Okay, you can work it out and get it to the back. We'll leave it to you. So really what I'm trying to say is, actually, good is good enough, right? It caught my attention. You didn't have an awful lot of time, but you caught my attention, and good was good enough. Now, my husband reads a hell of a lot of books. I have to confess I read about the first chapter, listen to what he says, and probably don't ever read them again. But Malcolm Gladwell said you need 10,000 hours to be an expert. 10,000 hours. And the long and the short of it is we haven't got time to be experts, right? That is actually the long and short of it. We've just got to get on with it. We've got to just be good, but we don't have to be an expert. And actually, Federer, he didn't win all of his points to become world number 1. He won 54% of all of the points, and that made him world number 1. He was therefore not 100% perfect. And my mantra is, you can do anything, but you really have not got time to do everything. And you have to really focus on what can you do. So I was asked to talk about a bit about my journey and a bit about what I do as a day job. So my journey is, I live in a tiny village called Swaffham Prior. We have a grunge match, hockey match, Boxing Day with Swaffham Bullbeck. We are not Swaffham Bullbeck, we are Swaffham Prior. And we're about 8 miles to the east of Cambridge. Pretty typical village, lots of homes that are old and listed, and we're reliant on oil. We have a pub that sometimes closes down, currently open, 2 churches, 2 windmills, a station that somebody shut back in the 60s, half-form-entry primary school, and a rather ugly-looking water tower. And age and buildings really matter in our village. We have old buildings, and putting it out there, because I don't think anybody from the village is here, old people. We have old people, old houses, and it's a real problem. So when I was on maternity leave, just before I turned 30, I decided that we had to try and address this. I was really worried about our community cohesion. So I set up a community land trust with a group of people here, and we built 8 homes to the village. This is 14 years ago with air source heat pumps, and this is Mari, one of our residents. And this little project of 8 homes has been game-changing for our tiny community, but really started me on my journey about what else could we be doing. So putting it out there, I got pissed off with being on oil. We're a village that has no attachment to a gas network. When you order oil, you have to buy 500 litres. You don't know whether it's going to be 20 pence a litre, whether it's going to be 120 pence a litre. Fuel poverty is a problem, or was a problem, in oil communities hundreds of years ago, let alone in the more recent years. And so I thought, you know what, we've got a company, We're not the parish council. You know, we are here and we can actually be doing something with this company. And so I'd listened to a podcast about the island of Egg in Scotland, where a guy retired, and I thought, you know what? If we think about every single community, every single village, every single town, every single city like an island, let's look at our resources and see what we can do with them. And that's basically exactly what I've all asked you to do first thing in this presentation. So back in 2017, I started thinking about, should we have a district heat network for our village? Having listened to this podcast on the Isle of Egg, I also then started doing research into Denmark and Sweden and places and what they'd done. And I met a chap, one of the dads of one of my kids' friends, and he said, well, I tried to do this 10 years ago and nobody would listen. So I thought, well, you know what, let's put our heads together and see what we can do. So we decided to get a grant and we established options for a low carbon heat network. We had a few rules of the game. One, no barriers to entry. Anybody could join the project for free. We didn't want to be burning anything, and we didn't really want to be stoking anything at the weekends or having a high level of involvement, but also we wanted to ensure that it was as cheap as oil, if not less. So we came together, we led as a community, but then soon realised we hit the buffers. We had to start collaborating with other people in order to unlock the next stages of the project. And that's where we discovered Cambridgeshire County Council. And we came together with them, mainly because, if we're honest with ourselves, they owned a massive farm on the edge of our village, but they'd also set up an energy unit that was specifically tasked with generating energy from the assets that they own. So we came together with Cambridgeshire County Council and what was then Weeks, now rebranded as Equans, and we created Heating Swaffham Prior, a loose collaboration in order to deliver the project for the village. And then we got fairly emboldened. There were many steps along the way, but we decided we thought we could push it a bit further. And so by 2021, we decided we were going to deliver a zero carbon heat network for the entire village. So this is our village. It's sort of in two sections, the green areas, and the bit of land that we've decided to put the heat network, or the borehole network under is in orange with an energy centre in yellow. So it's a district heat network with an energy centre on the edge of our village. And the final proposal is this. It's 108 boreholes that go 200 metres deep. We use those boreholes in winter. In summer, we use industrial air source. We have 4 backup boilers of about 200,000 litres. And we also now have a private wire to a solar farm that the county council owns about 8 kilometres away. And basically, all we're doing is generating heat at about 68 to 70 degrees, sending it round, boring old pipes just through a network through the village. This is a picture of the solar farm. As I say, it's a fairly hefty solar farm, but we take a small fraction of the energy from that farm. And this is the energy centre from above. It's a barn. Effectively, it looks a little bit like an industrial dairy unit. This is it from the side, and this is it for scale. So the farm itself that surrounds us has gone back now to the tenant farmer, but we've drilled the boreholes into the field, and the pipe network sits about 80 centimetres below the ground. And you can see the pipes going from the boreholes there back to the energy centre. And that's it from a slightly different angle. It's safe to say we caused absolute chaos, total carnage. We thought the tarmac was going to be about 15 centimetres deep, turned out to be about 1 metre 50 in some areas. We've had traumatic experiences, 8-mile tailbacks, locked up the nearby villages, red lights all going red at the same time. And actually it was quite difficult at first trying to convince people that this was the right thing to do. Lots of people thought that they were already doing the right thing by buying green energy, that heat pumps were going to be the saviour to the old properties. And dare I say it, the local journalists loved it. We had an awful lot of problems on Facebook, which we did have to face up to. Bless them down at the Eden project. They were going into a deep geothermal. There was earthquake activity. Obviously, the village then thought we were going to cause earthquakes through the village. And at the end of the day, you just have to get ahead of it. I got so fed up, I just went on and said, a quick note, the heating scheme is not responsible for the blue sign on Cage Hill, the diversion by Anglian Water, a solar farm proposal, a pop-up campsite, or the results of the football match. Because sometimes it just gets so much. You cannot be responsible for everything, but people start targeting you and blaming you. And then after the massive lock-up of the village, it doesn't help that a guy who writes for the Daily Mail and the Spectator lives in the next village, plays cricket with my husband, perfectly affable, but then gets his pen out, decided to write about the project in the Daily Mail online. My mum reads the Daily Mail. She obviously was like, oh, you're in the Daily Mail, got very excited. I was like, Mum, no, it's not good. And then online, if you look at the comments, the one that, is basically saying it's all rubbish, gets huge, over 1,000 likes, everybody's loving this. And then there's a couple of people who stand up for it, and they get 144 down. So it's really hard when you're trying to do the right thing, but popular press is really out to sort of knock you and take you down. However, we overcame all the negativity. Luckily, I'm a highly stubborn person, and this is now what the heat network looks like. It is literally pipes into a house. You cannot see it. It works with every single house type in our village, and on the face of it, once you've actually been through it, has minimal disruption to the home. All it is one pipe in, one pipe out, take out the existing oil boiler and replace it with a heat interface unit inside the home. And basically, that's what it looks like now. Really, you couldn't tell that we've done anything, and it just works. There's a couple more examples, more in the historic side of the village. It's just a pipe in, pipe out through someone's cellar, and then a unit on the wall. And that basically is how we've achieved it. But it's really hard with these global issues trying to tackle it with people on the ground. And also with the threat of oil boilers then not being around come 2026. Now we're looking at 2035 for gas and oil boilers. We've got to start making some huge, big decisions now what we're going to do. This is Brian. Brian comes down and sees us every now from Brassington about the community heating project there, but we're working now with hundreds of different communities trying to inspire them to do the right thing. And if you think you want to have a go at it, we would more than happily host you, help you, back you, assist you however we can in order that you can achieve the same. This is what it looks like now, back to a rewilding project and another view. So it really has been a transformational project which really hasn't left a huge scar on the village, just a little temporary one whilst we caused a little bit of chaos. And we've saved a huge amount of carbon over the year. We really do think this is something that we can spread around other villages. So this was not my day job, though. I was working for housing associations, for developers. This was entirely as a volunteer because I suddenly realised, actually, if I started local, I could actually achieve quite a lot. But that's when the project caught the eye of Octopus Energy. They invited me in to talk about the project, and Greg Jackson offered me a job at Octopus. So for the last 18 months, I've been Low Carbon Homes Director at Octopus. One of the interesting things about us is we have no HR, we have no policies, no procedures, and it really is, in many ways, one of the strangest places I've ever worked. We are basically a tech company that has come into the energy market to disrupt, and we are completely unashamedly disruptors in doing things that we do. We think about, actually, what could we do that's better? How could we move into the future? Let's do things that haven't been done before. And that really is what I love doing. And it's taken me this long to realise, but therefore I truly have found my tribe. We're now in 18 countries around the world. We're only 8 years old, and we're the largest supplier of electricity in the UK. But it goes to show when you really want something, you can genuinely disrupt. We also had last year 2,000 jobs advertised. We had over 250,000 people apply for them. So it goes to show if you're doing the right thing, you will attract the very best people to come and work alongside you. And everything we do is on the back of technology. And this is the computer called Kraken. And Kraken is an awesome beast. At one end, it's doing your billing. The other end, it's trading on global energy markets. And in between, it's controlling the wind turbines or the solar farms that we also look after and manage. Because the landscape is shifting, we're not going to have any more these big energy centres generating down the pipes to our homes. We're going to have multiple different types of wind, solar, battery going down those same pipes to our homes, which also have wind, solar, battery and other technologies coming in. But going back to the Federer point, we know that we're never always going to be excellent or perfect, but we know when to be good. And the thing for us, the points we want to be scoring are with our customers. We want to be the very best energy provider out there. 7 years in a row, which recommended, they're the points we want to be winning. We're out doing green installations. We were the largest installer of green tech last year. And we've got a training centre, we've now got a second one just opening up, where we show people around, educate people, train up our engineers, and show them that heat pump technology really is able to work. The Red House being in 1950s building regs, and the White House being 1990s building regs. And if anybody wants to come, bring any of your councillors, any of the people you work with, any of your directors, we'll happily host you in Slough. But we also know we can do better. So what we've been doing in Slough is trialling and testing other people's heat pumps. We've now got the Cosy 6 and the Cosy 10, which is our heat pump that we have invented, that we have tried and tested, and we're now rolling out into the wild. Our customers, they can monitor their energy use every 30 seconds if they wish with the free Home Hub Mini. And we've also designed the Cosy Hub that works with our heat pump, which means that everybody can monitor and control inside their home. But where we've really understood what we can do is flexibility. And for anybody who's got an electric vehicle out there, we've learnt that we can be charging your car up super cheap at night at 7.5 pence versus during the day at maybe 28 pence, because wind turbines were being turned off, and we can keep them rolling and running during the night and use that energy to charge up our customers' cars at a lower price. And we thought, well, what if we could do that to a home? And so we've taken the algorithms that we taught Kraken and we've put it into a house setting, and we now have the ability on new homes to eradicate electricity bills, guaranteed for 10 years. No standing charge, no bill for 10 years. And it's not rocket science, it's solar on the roof, it's air source heat pump, and it's a battery. And we flex the house in line with the grid, in line with what the person inside the home is wanting to use their heating and hot water for. There's a 2 times fair usage policy, and at the moment, car charging is separate. And these homes are now actually out there. They should be everywhere, but they are out there. We're working with some of the biggest names who've been trialling these homes just to make sure they really think the technology works, even though we have told them multiple times it's standard technology, smart controlled by us. This is the largest scheme that we've done, 89 homes with Hill and with Clarion in Newport in Essex, and this is it from the ground. And this is a lovely project. We took 4 homes just built by Barratt, and we took 2 of them, and 2 weeks after they were built, we proved that you could retrofit them to 0 bills, and literally as soon as they were handed over to our client at Citra, we turned 2 of them into 0 bills, and they were able to actually rent those properties out as an all-inclusive rent because there was no electricity bill on the home. We've also had some success in terms of promoting how we can be working with the new build market, and that Starship built a new home literally outside the convention centre in Liverpool, ready for the housing conference and the Labour conference. So we could actually showcase what we were doing and show people it's solar on the roof, air source heat pump, and it can work with new homes now. But one of the questions we get asked, well, will it work in Scotland? And the answer actually is, yes, it does. So I've now been up to Glasgow a couple of times in the last few months working with Mast Architects, and we now know, because of the Scottish system, that there's no more gas boilers coming on stream for new build homes. Together with better thermal capacity in the walls, we know we can now do 0 bills in Scotland. And we think this is a huge opportunity for us to now start rolling out 0 bills up here. And we also think that the car is going to unlock the future, because there's a battery inside that car that can also be in terms of the house as well. And so we've launched a specific vehicle-to-home charging tariff called Power Pack. It currently works for 3 different house types. But imagine you drive home at 5, plug in your car, the house runs off the grid is most expensive, and then we top the car up again after midnight when we know that power is cheap. And we've also got a huge range of smart tariffs, which we think can unlock this technology revolution as well. I myself have just taken over becoming chair of the RICS Residential Professional Group panel, and we're working really hard with the Green Finance Institute and mortgage companies in order to actually deliver products that will help people make this transition. Perenna is one of those new banks that's come to the market, and because of 0 bills, they're wiping out the line that has energy costs in the multiplier for the customer, so therefore they can borrow a little bit more money in order to buy their first home. We've also got a company, a sister company to us called Octopus Real Estate, and we're rolling out grants to developers and small SME builders who are doing the right thing. We've also got our own housing association called New Arch, because New Arch are out there trying to ensure that we are building the very best EPC-A homes for residents to ensure that they live healthy, happy lives. And we're doing some cool stuff in Africa. We're taking an island and we're moving it straight away through the energy transition for wind, wave and solar project to provide power to an island. We've got our own research department called the Centre for Net Zero, which some of our best and wackiest ideas come from. And we've also got an ID&O, and we're looking at grid balancing. So I'm not sure if anybody up here is an Arsenal supporter, but the Emirates Stadium is now powered off batteries underneath the stadium. We fill them up at night when it's super green and super cheap, and they run their matches, their burger bands, all the other stuff off the batteries that are sat underneath the stadium. We do saver sessions for our customers, encouraging them to turn off when the grid is most expensive, but also we do power-ups now when there's a lot of green electrons hitting the grid, for example, in the middle of summer. We've got fleets of electric vehicles and company leasing programs, and we've also got the Electroverse card, which you as a customer can talk to your account or to a debit card. We have a commercial version as well, and it now works with 85% of all the car chargers in Europe. So you don't have to hop out your car, work out how to download an app, and et cetera, et cetera. You just tap the card, pay, charge, and go. We have got 1 in 10 of the UK solar farms we've invested in. We're repowering wind turbines. But we've got some interesting collaborations. We've invested in Kenza for ground source. We've got a company called Unity, which is a 50-50 joint venture with the co-op, investing in community projects. We've also got a touring wind turbine named by our customers as Gusty Spinfield. We've now got a slightly smaller one, which is called Fat Boy Spin, there we go, got it right, which also goes around. And then we've got fan clubs as well. So if you happen to live near one of our 4 wind turbines, you get 20% off your bill when the wind is blowing the turbine around, but 50% off when it's really blowing a hoolie. And you can watch that live time from your app if you so wish to. We're also doing some really cool things. We have a group of customers, I'm going to call them the geeks. They like it, they come together, they're their own little community, and they can discuss online all sorts of different issues. And the Smart Energy Forum, as they're known, is really interactive, and we get a lot of feedback from our customers here. And I've just highlighted, somebody posted something, and in 6 minutes of the post, 66 people had seen it. This is what we love. We love the fact that our customers want to be engaged with us, giving us feedback. We can trial, we can test in a safe space, and we know that we really are listening and trying to achieve what we want to do. More recently, we've got a solar sharing opportunity that we've developed in our R&D lab, which we're working with York University. We trialled it effectively in a safe space. We now rolled it out so our customers can join in. And looking to the future, we've invested in Deep Green, which is a company that runs small data centres that provides hot water. They have been working on swimming pools, but we're about to combine that with one of our solar farms in order to produce a district heat network for a nearby village at very, very low cost, because the hot water from the data centre is a byproduct, and we can offset the costs of the power from our solar farm. And we also think we're going to be very close to getting to zero bills in retrofit. At the moment, it's deep dive retrofit, but that is our aim, eradicating bills in retrofit for existing stock. And so really where I want to end is be good, not perfect, and own it. And this is from a couple of weeks ago. To our utter horror, one of our new marketing team had spent a long time on the wrap for our vans. These vans are now out in the wild. She spent a long time trying to make sure that the words didn't spell the word pus, but she definitely had not appreciated it was going to spell the word orgy. But we owned it, right? We're not perfect, we're just as good as we can be, and this is what we say, own it, because we put it out on Twitter. You can even see the bit of the WhatsApp group that says FFS up above as well. But everybody loved it. All of our customers got engaged. Graham, a bit too much, but I hope Graham's not in the audience. But, you know, our customers love the fact we put our hands up. We messed up, right, but it's funny. But obviously, I can't leave you at a conference with a presentation where I leave you having had an orgy. So there we go, love and power. Thank you.